Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Gravenstein. Chapter 25. Akimi grabbed the door handle to the young adult room. It's locked. Here, said Sierra, use my library card. Huh? Said Akimi. Your books on the back are different too. I think they all are. I got the Egypt game and the Westing game. 2 books about games, said Kyle. Sweet. Akimi slipped Sierra's card into a reader slot above the doorknob. The door clicked. Kyle pushed it open. The walls of the young adult room were painted purple and yellow. There were swirly zebra print rugs on the floor and a lumpy cluster of beanbag chairs. A couple of sofas were designed to look like Scrabble trays with letter square pillows. Akimi nudged Kyle in the ribs. Check it out. In the far corner stood a carnival ticket booth with a mechanical dummy seated inside. A fun and games banner hung off the booth's striped roof. The dummy inside the glass booth? He looked at Mr. Lemoncello. He looked like Mr. Lemoncello. He wasn't wearing a turban, but the Mr. Lemoncello mannequin reminded Kyle of the Zoltar Speaks fortune teller booths he'd seen in video game arcades. That's not really him, is it? Said Akimi, who was right behind Kyle. No, it's a mechanical doll. The frozen automatron was dressed in a black top hat and a bright red ringmaster jacket. Since the booth had the Fun and Games banner, Kyle figured you might have to talk to the dummy to get a game. Hello, he said. We'd like to play a board game. Bells rang, whistles whistled, and chaser lights blinked. The mechanical Mr. Lemoncello jostled to life. If you want a game, just say its name. The life-size puppet's blocky jaw flapped open and shut, almost in sync with the words. Do you have Mr. Lemoncello's bewildering, baffling bibliomania? Did Joey Pigza lose control? Was Ella enchanted? Huh? Just say yes, suggested Sierra. Joey Pigza and Ella Enchanted are names of other books, in case you're still keeping track of the books that are mentioned inside of this book. Yes, said Kyle. Well, great Gilly Hopkins, said the Lemoncello dummy. Here you go. Kyle heard some mechanical noises and some whirring. Then, with a clunk, a wide slot popped open in front of the booth and a game box slid out. Enjoy, said the dummy. And remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. So be sure to read the instructions so you'll know how to play the game. Do you think that might be another clue? I think it might be a clue hiding out in the instructions. Let's find out. Kyle took the box to a table. Okay, he said, raising the lid. Let's set it up, and there was a beep and the door opened. Where is he? Andrew Peckelman barged into the room waving his antique magazine, something called Popular Science Monthly. Who are you looking for? Said Kyle. Mr. Lemoncello. I heard him. Is he in here? Where is he? Kyle pointed toward the frozen Lemoncello doll sitting in the Carney booth. It's a dummy. Peckelman whipped his head around from side to side. Is there a camera in here? Right over the door. Peckelman spun around to face it. Kyle, Akimi, and Sierra formed a human shield to hide their bibliomania box. I want to use the second lifeline, Peckelman shouted at the camera. I want to talk to an expert. Very well, said a calm voice Kyle immediately recognized as belonging to Dr. Zinchenko. With whom do you wish to speak? The guy who wrote this stupid magazine article about cracking open bank vaults in the 1930s. I'm afraid we cannot arrange that for you, Andrew. Why not? The guy's a moron. He didn't tell me anything about how to open the front door, which is what my Google search said this magazine would do. We told you the way out isn't the way in. That was just a red herring, a trick to throw us off course. No, Andrew, it was not. What is the title of the article? Newest bank vaults defy the cracksman. Ah, well, that should have been a hint. Apparently, the reporter concluded that thieves could not break open the vault doors. When doing internet research, it is important to...
Let me talk to the stupid idiot.
Oh, bad words. I'm sorry. The magazine was published in 1936. The reporter is dead.
Well, then I want to talk to Mr. Lemoncello.
Excuse me?
I want to talk to Mr. Lemoncello.
This is highly irregular.
And so is this game. You people have rigged it. So Miguel Fernandez will win. I know you do. That's why Mr. Lemoncello is afraid to talk to me.
Kyle heard the carnival booth dummy clatter back to life. Hello, Andrew. How may I help you? This Lemoncello didn't sound pre-recorded. Apparently, the real deal was using the dummy to do his talking.
Your library stinks,
shouted Peckelman. Oh, dear. Have you boys been playing that Castle Sewer game again?
No, but the stupid article should have given me the stupid answer, but the stupid writer didn't write what he should have written.
I see. And can you rephrase that in the form of a question?
How many can I ask you?
Just one, and then we're done.
Okay, you're the expert on the stupid new library game, so where's your favorite contestant? Where's Miguel?
Is that your final question?
Yes.
Assuming our video monitors are correct, Mr. Fernandez is on the other side of the third floor doing research in the Art and Artifacts room.
Thanks.
Andrew bolted out the door. The Lemoncello puppet bucked and drooped into its off mode. Kyle sprang up from the table. Come on, he said to Akimi and Sierra. Akimi sighed. Now where are we going? To make sure Peckelman doesn't do something stupid that gets Miguel kicked out of the game. And why would we do that? Because Miguel's our friend. Akimi glanced at her floor plan. The Art and Artifacts room is on the other side of the circle. Sierra, stay here and guard the game box. Come on, Akimi. Kyle and Akimi looped around the third floor balcony to the other side. Kyle glanced at his watch. It was almost 3 p.m. They really needed to start focusing on the game and not all this other monkey junk. As they neared the Art and Artifacts room, there was a shout and the door flew open. Andrew Peckelman came running out. Behind him were a woman with the head and tail of a lioness and a pharaoh in a cobra headpiece. The pharaoh stopped. May onions grow in your earwax! And a series of holographic hieroglyphics danced across the air. Andrew Peckelman raced to a staircase, grabbed both handrails, and hurried down to the second floor. The Egyptians vanished. Kyle and Akimi entered the Art and Artifacts room and found Miguel seated at a desk with what looked like blueprints. You okay? Asked Kyle. Yeah, man, I'm fine, thanks. Those guys chasing Andrew, where did they come from? Holograms from the giant Lego Sphinx and Pyramid exhibit. So why did they turn on Andrew? Asked Akimi. I don't know. 1 minute he's yelling at me, the next the Pharaoh and Sekhmet are yelling at him. Sekhu? Said Kyle. Sekhmet, said Akimi, the Egyptian lion goddess and warrior. Haven't you read The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan? It's on my list, said Kyle, or it would be. He definitely needed to start a reading list soon so he could catch up with everybody else. I bet the security guards in the control room fired up the Egyptian holograms when they saw Andrew going berserk in here, said Akimi. Good, said Miguel. A library is supposed to be a place for peaceful contemplation. That means thinking about things. That was when Sierra Russell rushed into the room. You guys, right after you left, the Mr. Lemoncello dummy spit out a bonus card. Chapter 26. Very clever, said Charles, pulling another silhouette card out of a book. Looks like a person crossing the street. This cover had been easy to find. It was the third book on the top shelf of the staff picks display. The image on the front was a bright yellow yield sign. The title? Universal Road Signs by renowned trafficologist Abigail Rose Painter. Charles had found the matching book in the 300s room on the second floor. The 300s were all about social sciences, including things like commerce, communications, and, ta-da, transportation. The image also fit nicely with the pictogram he had found in the 700s room in a book called The Umpire Strikes Back. That baseball book was the first cover on the second shelf in the display case and had given Charles a card with the classic pose of an umpire calling an out. Reading the images from left to right, then down, just like you would read a book, Charles knew he was on the right track. The traffic sign book gave him walk, and the umpire book gave him out. Put the two picture words together, and he had walk out. Clearly, if he could find all 12 silhouettes, the staff picks display would tell him how to walk out of the library. Although he had absolutely no idea what the first image he had found, the quarterback tossing a pass, had to do with escaping the library. Not yet, anyway. 3 down and 9 to go, said Charles, winking up at the closest security camera. And Mr. Lemoncello, if you're watching, may I just say that you are an extremely brilliant man. Charles had never sucked up to a video camera before. He figured it was worth a shot. Maybe Mr. Lemoncello would send him a bonus clue or something. Instead, when Charles stepped out of the 300s room, somebody sent him Andrew Peckelman. The Google-eyed library geek was sputtering mad as he rushed down the steps and stomped around the second-floor balcony. Stupid library! Stupid Lemoncello! Stupid Sphinx and Sekhmet! Why are you so glum, Andrew? Charles called out. Because this game stinks. Mr. Lemoncello just sent me a bunch of holograms, hurling hieroglyphics at me. He could put somebody's eye out with those things. Really? With a hologram? Hey, they're made with lasers, aren't they? Indeed. Say, speaking of hieroglyphics, where might I find a book about picture languages? Ha! Why should I help you? Because Kyle Keeley is working with Akimi Hughes and Sierra Russell. I imagine it is only a matter of time before your friend Miguel Fernandez joins their team too. Miguel isn't my friend. Besides, I'm better at navigating my way through a library than he'll ever be. I know. That's why I want you on my team. Really? Charles smiled. Kids like Andrew Peckelman were so easy to manipulate. Oh, yes. Work with me, and I guarantee you the world will know that you should be the head library aide at Alexandriaville Middle School. The 400s, blurted Peckelman. Pardon? That's where you'll find on hieroglyphics and all kinds of languages. If you secret code, these are in the 600 room. The 650s to be exact. Charles shot out his hand. Welcome to Team Charles, Andrew. The new teammates stepped into the 400s room. For some reason, it was pitch dark and smelled like pine trees. Buen dia. Bienvenue. Vitami. Koakarabishia. Welcome, boomed a voice from the ceiling speakers. This is the 400s room, home foreign. Here, Charles and Andrew, you can learn all about your American heritage. A bank of spotlights thumped on. Charles and Andrew were face to blank face with a row of 4 featureless mannequins. An overhead projector beamed movie to a dummy number 2, turning it into a perky woman who looked like a flight attendant. Hello and welcome to your American heritage. I'm Debbie. Let's begin our voyage. That's okay, said Charles. We're rather busy. The mannequin. Charles sighed. Obviously, there was no way to display. I just want to speed things along by telling the dummy what it wanted to hear. Fine, but can we go with the abridged version? We're a bit in a rush. Yeah, said Andrew. Back to us noon tomorrow. The woman, whose body remained frozen while a movie her life, reminded Charles of graveyard statues from the haunted mansion world. Research your family trees, she said. Please enjoy this short and in film. Is this part of the game? Andrew whispered to Charles. Possibly. Pay attention for any clues. Okay, what do they look like? Who said? A screen behind the life-size dummies leapt to life with all sorts of scratchy images of people huddled together on the boat near the Statue of Liberty. For decades, narrated the voice, public libraries have proud America's newest citizens, the immigrants who flocked to these shores, yearning for the freedom to build their own American dreams. Charles really wasn't interested in this kind of stuff. His ancestors were all Americans. The only language they spoke was English. Yes, the library is where many new arrivals journey first to learn their new homeland's language, to keep in touch with the world they left behind, to search for the gainful employment that will make them productive residents of their newly adopted home. The movie dissolved into blackness. Thank you for your kind attention, chirped cheerful Debbie. We have completed your American family tree. Let's meet your first American ancestors. Two mannequins sprang to illuminated life, both of them dressed in traditional Thanksgiving pilgrim costumes. I know who they are already, said Charles. That's John Chiltington and his wife, Eleanor. They came to Plymouth Colony on the Mayflower. Can we move on to Andrew's family, please? Of course, said Debbie. The mannequins quickly went through Andrew Peckelman's ancestry. Apparently, the family name had originally been Pickleman because they made pickles. After a prolonged parade of pickle people, the dummies took on the guise of Andrew's most famous ancestor, a guy in horn-rimmed glasses and a tweed sports coat named Peter Paul Peckelman. I appeared on the TV game show Concentration in 1968, he announced, and won a room full of furniture and wood paneling for my rumpus room. Charles smiled. He knew the TV game show Concentration was very similar to Mr. Lemoncello's phenomenal picture word puzzler, one of the games he had picked up at the toy store. Peter Paul Peckelman's claim to fame was further confirmation that piecing together the picture puzzle would show Charles how to escape from the library. He'd been right. The dummies had just given him a bonus clue. Chapter 27. Excited by the sudden appearance of a second bonus card, Sierra read it out loud. 2 plus 2 can equal more than 4. Put 2 and 2 together and you'll be closer than before. Akimi raised her hand. Yes, said Sierra. You do realize that Miguel here isn't on our team. Oh, right, sorry. Miguel turned to Kyle. You guys are a team? Yep, you want to join? Maybe, not sure, but check back with me later, man. No problem, said Kyle. He fist-bumped his chest. Miguel fist-thumped his. They were flashing each other peace signs when Sierra said, I think this means we should all play together as a team. Remember what it says on the fountain down in the lobby? Knowledge not shared remains unknown. Maybe, said Miguel. Like I said, let me get back to you guys. I'm working on a few angles of my own, flying solo. Sure, no problem. Kyle was about to do the whole fist chest bump peace sign thing again when he had a brainstorm. Miguel, quick question. What's on your library card? Miguel shrugged. My name and the number 1. Anything else, like on the back? Nothing really, a couple of books. 2? Yeah. What are their titles? Miguel bit his lip. Don't want to say. Because you think they might be clues? Not saying what I might or might not be thinking, bro. Kyle nodded. There are 2 different books on the back of everybody's library cards, said Akimi, thinking out loud. Put 2 and 2 together and you'll be closer than before. The book titles are some sort of clue. My books are 1... Akimi. Kyle shook his head and nodded toward Miguel. Oh, right, sorry, my bad. Okay, Miguel said Kyle. If and when you decide to team up with us, you can show us the 2 books on the back of your card, and we'll all show you ours. We'll also split the prize 4 ways. Deal? Deal. Come on, guys. Kyle gestured toward the exit. Where are we going? Asked Sierra. Kyle dropped his voice. The Electronic Learning Center. You want to play video games? Said Akimi. Now? Seriously, Kyle, we may need to rethink your status as team captain. I don't want to play video games. I want to check out the discard pile. Huh? The cards the players who went home early dumped into the goldfish bowl. I'm coming with you guys, said Miguel. I've been thinking about those extra cards too. Fine, said Kyle. Whatever. When they entered the room, they saw Clarence, his arms folded across his chest, genie style. He was standing guard in front of the discard pile. May I help you? He asked. Yeah, said Kyle. We want to check out the cards in the bowl. Sorry, said Clarence. You can't have them. But, said Mr. Lemoncello, his face suddenly appearing on every video screen in the room, you can win them. Dressed in a polka-dotted bow tie and snazzy jacket like a game show host, Mr. Lemoncello had one arm resting on a slender plexiglass podium. Behind him, Dr. Zinchenko, all decked out in a sparkly red mini dress, looked like the models that point at prizes on TV. "Are the four of you ready to play Let's Do a Deal?" When Mr. Lemoncello said that, he pushed a big red button on his podium. A pre-recorded studio audience whistled, cheered, and applauded. What's Let's Do a Deal?" asked Kyle. "My first game to ever be turned into a TV show, brought to you by Lemon Pledge." Dr. Zinchenko started singing, "Lemon Pledge, very pretty, put the shine down, lemon good." "Thank you, Dr. Z," said Mr. Lemoncello, bopping the button to make the audience cheer again. "Now then, kids, here's the deal. Solve one simple picture puzzle, and you four win the 5 library cards in the bowl. And if we lose, simple. Each of you loses his or her library card and adds it to the discard bowl for our next lucky contestants to try and win." He banged the red button again. The audience cheered exactly the same way they cheered before. Kyle turned to the others. "What do you guys say?" "Let's go for it," said Akimi. Sierra nodded. "Miguel?" "I'm in, bro." "You're joining our team?" "Absolutely." They knocked knuckles to seal the deal. Mr. Lemoncello must have whacked his button again because the canned studio audience started cheering. Kyle wondered what the sound effects would be if he and his friends lost their library cards playing Let's Do a Deal. Probably groans and weeping. Lots and lots of weeping. Kyle doesn't want to find out what those sounds sound like, does he? What do you guys think about teamwork? If you were in Mr. Lemoncello's escape game, would you want to continue working on your own? Do you think you could solve it by yourself? Or do you think it would be better to work as a team? But by working as a team, you have to split the prize. So would you rather work alone and win all the prize, if you win, or work as a team and have a better chance to win and split the prize? Something to think about. Chapter 28. "Now then," said Mr. Lemoncello, "are you ready to play Risking Everything for 5 little library cards?" Kyle swallowed hard. Then he nodded. "All right, you maniac mages, here is your picture puzzle. The category is famous quotes. You have 60 seconds to solve this rebus." "Wait a second," said Akimi. "What's a rebus?" "You figure out the words in a phrase by looking at pictures and symbols," said Kyle. "For instance," added Miguel, "the letters R and E plus a picture of a school bus would equal rebus." "Oh, okay," said Akimi, "if you guys say so." "Are you ready to play?" asked Mr. Lemoncello. Kyle looked at his teammates, who nodded. "Yes, sir." "Then on your mark, get set, go dog go." There's another book title. Oh boy, guys, here's some pictures that you're going to pay attention to. Mr. Lemoncello's image disappeared. Tick-tock clock music started playing. The video screens all projected the same picture. Let equals side and an outlet. Outside, because the let part of outlet equals to be changed to side. So outside. This is golf, but you get rid of the G and the L. So that would be of, outside of a dog, a book, record, or I don't know. A book, this looks like a record, a woman, so man's, I don't know what that, peanuts, so get rid of the P-E, I don't know, fries, these are pins, so inside of a dog. Look at all of these. Maybe you and your parents can work on these and see what you can come up with. "We're officially dead," said Akimi. 55 seconds, said Mr. Lemoncello. "Okay, we break it up 4 ways," said Kyle. "The first and third rows are similar. I'll do them." "I'll do the last one," said Akimi. "And I'll take the second row," said Miguel. "I'm 4, said Sierra. 50 seconds, said Mr. Lemoncello. Everyone went to work. "Mine is some guy hitting himself in the thumb, but with a grr and an O," muttered Akimi. That's down here. Then the male symbol where the ol equals erks, marks. Does that make sense? Hello, Kyle. Is my second half marks? Kyle didn't answer. He was too busy deciphering his own clue lines. Outlet changed the let to side. He mumbled. Golf minus the g and the ul, the letter A. 40 seconds. Dog. He dropped to the third line. He just needed the first word. Bowling pins without the p, but add an I'd. So pins, I'd, inside. 30 seconds. Kyle glanced at Miguel. He was moving his lips, mouthing out his part of the quote. Sierra was too. You guys ready? Kyle whispered. Hang on, said Miguel. 20 seconds. Okay, go. Kyle read the first line. Outside of a dog. Outside of a dog. Miguel picked up the thread. A book is a man's best friend. Kyle continued. Inside of a dog, Sierra took over. It's too dark to read. Akimi brought them home. Groucho Marx. Is that your final answer? Asked Mr. Lemoncello. Yes, said Kyle. And then he repeated the entire quote. I'll go back so you can see it. Outside of a dog, a book's a man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. Groucho Marx. Bells rang. Chaser lights flashed. The audience went wild. Akimi and Sierra actually squealed and hugged each other. You are correct, said Mr. Lemoncello. There's no dead end in Norvelt. Not today. Take those 5 library cards, Team Kyle. You won them fair and square. Charles and Andrew heard a commotion on the 3rd floor. Bells ringing. An audience whooping it up. Girls squealing. Come on, said Charles. They raced up the stairs and peeked into the electronic learning center. Kyle Keeley and his teammates were all hugging each other and slapping high fives. On every video screen in the game room, Charles could see a pictogram puzzle. What's going on in there? Whispered Andrew. They might be gaining on us, Charles whispered back. We need to pick up our pace. Quick, where would I find a book called Hoosier Hospitality, written by Eve Healy Aresti?
The 900s room.
Let's go. Charles and Andrew scurried back to the 2nd floor in the 900s room, where they found Haley Daly holding Hoosier Hospitality by Eve Healy Aresti. Oh, hello, you guys, she said, slamming the book shut. Charles moved toward her very slowly. Find anything interesting in that book, Haley? Not really, she giggled. Just a bunch of dumb junk about Indiana. Just a bunch of dumb junk about Indiana. Charles knew she was hiding something. I wonder, Haley, if you and I might share a quiet word. He turned to Andrew. In private.
Does that mean I'm supposed to leave?
Yes, Andrew. It's for the good of the team. Trust me.
Okay, but I'll be right outside that door if you decide to double-cross me or something.
Thank you, Andrew. This will only take a quick minute. Peckelman left the room. Smiling, Charles moved even closer to Haley, so close he could smell her bubblegum, or shampoo, or maybe both. Let's step over here, he said, taking Haley by the elbow. I found another fascinating book that I think you'll just love. He guided her to a spot behind a bookcase where their conversation couldn't be observed by the security camera blinking up in the ceiling. Haley went with Charles. If he had been looking for the same book she'd just found, that meant he was playing the library escape game along a similar path. Charles Chiltington might have clues that Haley could use, clues she needed. Rumor has it, Charles whispered, that your parents wrote your library essay for you. Inside, Haley was grinning. Obviously, Charles would try to bully her into joining his team. Fine, she'd pretend to be frightened. What? She whispered back, pretending to be terrified. That's a lie. My dad just helped me with some of the spelling. Aha! So you admit it. All the spelling in your essay wasn't your own. Okay, this was going to take more acting skill than usual. Having someone check your spelling wasn't against anybody's rules or anything. She widened her eyes, made her lips quiver. What do you want, Charles? For you to join my team. Why should I do that? 2 reasons. 1, if you're on my side, your flagrant plagiarism remains in our dirty little secret pile. 2, I know what to do with that silhouette card you just found in the Hoosier Hospitality book. You do? Oh, yes. If we share our clues, the pictures will create a phrase telling us how to find the alternate exit. Haley smiled. For real. This was working out perfectly. She'd get all their clues, and even if they all won together, Mr. Lemoncello would definitely make her the real star of his TV commercials. She had zazz. Charles and Andrew, they did not. Okay, she said, deal. I'm on your team. Then she handed Charles the clue she had found in the Hoosier book. Of course, said Charles. After all, Indiana is the Hoosier state. Do you boys and girls know what this is a picture of? Try to work on that with your family and see if you can figure out what that is a picture of. Chapter 29. Oh man, said Kyle, leading his team around the balcony back to the young adult room. 9 library cards. This is fantastic. They get around a table. Okay, guys, time for everybody to put their cards on the table. Literally. The teammates set down their cards. Kyle spread 5 from the disc bowl, pulled out a pad, and wrote all the information on a master list. Books, authors on the backs of library cards. Number 1, Bill Fernandez's card. Incident at Hawks Hill by Alan W. Eckert, and No David by David Shannon. 2, Akimi Hughes. 1 Fish, 2 Fish, Red Fish, Dr. Seuss, and 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger. Number was unknown. Don't have that yet. Number 4, Bridget Wage. Tales of Grade Nothing by Judy Blunt. Harry and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Number 5, Sierra Russell. The Egypt Game by Zlee Snyder. The Westing by Egan. Number 6, Yasmin Smith Snyder. A World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. The Yak Who Yelled Yuck by Carol Pulangio Martin. Number 7, Sean Keegan. Olivia by Ian Falconer. Unreal by Paul Jennings. Number 8, Unknown. Number 9, Rose Ramette. All of a Kind Family by Sidney Taylor. And Scat by Carl Hyacin. Number 10, Kayla Corson. Anna to the Infinite Power by Mildred Ames. And Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Number 11, Unknown. Number 12, Kyle Keeley. I Love You, Stinky Face by Lisa McCourt. The Napping House by Audrey Wood. Wow, said Sierra, that's a lot of good books, but what do all those authors and titles mean? It means we need Charles, Andrews's, and Haley's cards, said Kyle. Really, said Akimi? Because if you ask me, we already have way too much information. Well, said Kyle, maybe later we'll find a clue that will tell us how to read this clue. And how are we going to do that, asked Miguel. Have you ever played this? Kyle pointed to the Bibliomania box. Nope, I always wanted to. We were just about to get up a game. Does this have anything to do with finding our way out of the library? We sure hope so, said Akimi. Awesome. By the way, Kyle said to Miguel, what did you find in the art and artifacts room? Yeah, said Akimi, all those papers you kept trying to hide from us. Miguel grinned. The original blueprints for the Gold Leaf Bank building. Clever, said Kyle. That way you could look for old exits that might still exist behind the new walls. Exactly. Did you find any extra exits? Asked Akimi. No hidden windows either. Yeah, what's up with that? How come they built this place with so few windows? To discourage bank robbers, I guess, said Kyle. Yep, said Miguel. The only way in was through the front door. The fire exits could only be opened from the inside, like in a movie theater. The vault itself was all the way down in the basement. Mr. Lemoncello kept all that security, said Kyle, and added his own. So it would seem. Well, hopefully, Bibliomania will lead us to some kind of alternate exit. And fast, said Akimi. Don't forget, we're not the only ones playing this game. One of those guys is probably halfway out the door already. Okay, said Kyle. Gameplay is pretty simple. You spin the spinner and advance your piece the number of spaces the needle points to. You move around the library and go into each of the 10 Dewey Decimal rooms where you can pick up a book by answering a clue card. If you guess wrong, you get a new clue card in the same room on your next turn. The first person to fill the 10 slots in their bookshelf and spin their way out of the library wins. It's sort of like Trivial Pursuit, said Sierra, and the questions aren't all that hard because they're mostly multiple choice. Let's hear one, said Miguel eagerly. The cards were separated into 10 multicolored mini stacks, one for each room. Kyle grabbed a green card. Okay, this is for the 800s room. Literature. Deathly ill and pursued by the ring wraiths, Frodo Baggins was carried safely across the river Brunnen on the gleaming white elf horse of Glorfindel, named A. Asphodel, B. Asphaleth, C. Elmarian, or D. Inglakel. Akimi shook her head like she was having a brain freeze. What? I think the answer might be A, said Miguel. They're all A's, said Kyle. Asphodel, Asphaleth, it's B. Asphaleth, said Sierra. It's from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Kyle flipped the card over and read the answer. You were correct. You get a copy of Lord of the Rings to put in your bookshelf. So, Kyle, said Akimi, how exactly is knowing the name of an elf horse going to help us get out of the library? Maybe it's like a secret code, suggested Miguel, and the 10 book titles will form a sentence telling us how to get out. Possibly, said Kyle, but I see one problem. What's that? It's too random. Mr. Lemoncello would have no idea which 10 cards we might pick. Well, said Sierra, maybe there are only 10 questions, one for each room. Akimi grabbed the card stacks, fanned them out. Nope, they're all different. Hang on, said Kyle. He was remembering something about another game, Mr. Lemoncello's indoor-outdoor scavenger hunt. How his mother had been able to write to the company and request a fresh set of cards. He turned to the video camera mounted in a corner. I'd like my librarian consultation, please. What's up, Kyle? Asked Miguel. I'm playing on a hunch. The holographic Mrs. Tobin appeared behind a young adult librarian's desk. How may I help you, Kyle? My friends and I want to play Bibliomania, but we were wondering, is there a new set of cards? Yes, Kyle, there is. And a fresh deck of cards popped up through a slot in the desk. Good thinking, Kyle Keeley. Chapter 30. We'll just play one bookshelf, said Kyle. Because we're a team now, right, bro? Said Miguel. Right, plus we don't have all day. Well, said Akimi, technically we do. In fact, we have the rest of today and tomorrow till noon. We've got like 19 hours left, said Miguel. But Charles and the others, said Sierra, they could beat us. Right, said Kyle. After all, he is a Chiltington. And according to Sir Charles, they never lose. Miguel, you're the newest member of the team. You spin first. Miguel rubbed his hands together, limbered up his fingers, practiced flicking his index finger off his thumb, made sure he had a good snap, and followed through. Would you hurry up and spin before my brain explodes? Pleaded Akimi. No problem. Miguel flicked the plastic pointer. It whirled around the cardboard square decorated with a sunburst of 10 colorful triangles. Booyah! The triple zeros, general knowledge. That's not so great, said Kyle. How come? You get to move 0 spaces. Aw, bummer. Akimi put up her hand. Yes, said Kyle. Do we really have to spin and count spaces and all that junk? We have a deadline. Clocks everywhere are ticking against us. Maybe we can just pull a pink card, suggested Sierra. It's really not how you play the game, said Kyle. We're not really playing this game, Kyle, said Akimi. We're playing the other one, the big game, the one with the ginormous prize. I have to agree with Akimi, said Miguel. Fine, said Kyle. It's against the rules, but pull a pink card. Are you sure, bro? Just pull a pink. Miguel quickly sorted the new deck into 10 stacks of different colors. He pulled the pink one on the top of its pile. These are different from the regular cards. He turned it over and showed it to the group. 0 plus 27 plus 0.4 equals... Easy peasy, said Akimi. The answer is 27.4 because the 0 doesn't change the sum. Not in math, said Miguel, but this isn't math. This is the Dewey Decimal System, and there's always 3 numbers to the left of the decimal point. We need to find a book with the call number 027.4, added Sierra. Fine, said Akimi, but I guarantee you it isn't a math book. The team made their way around the balcony circling the Dewey Decimal System doors. Here we go, said Miguel. He slid his library card into a reader on a door labeled the 000s. Okay, said Miguel, in here we're going to find general knowledge, almanacs, encyclopedias, bibliographies, books about library science. It's a science, said Akimi. Where do they keep the chemicals? In the library paste, joked Sierra, who was loosening up. She hadn't read one page of a book in hours. Found it, said Miguel, reaching up to pull a book off the shelf. 027.4. Man, it's old. Look at how yellow the pages are. So, what's the antique title? Asked Akimi. Get to Know Your Local Library by Amy Alessio and Aaron Downey. Miguel held the book so everybody could see the cover. It was illustrated with a cartoony-looking detective in a checkered hat who was holding up a magnifying glass to examine books on a shelf. Looks like the library guide for kids, said Miguel, opening the cover to read one of the inside pages. First publication was way back in 1952. He flipped through a few pages. It explains the Dewey Decimal System, contains a glossary of library terms, a brief history of libraries. He reached the back of the book. Awesome! What? Asked Kyle as he and the others moved closer to see what Miguel had found. It's an old-fashioned book slip from the Alexandriaville Public Library. The one they tore down? Yep, and this card, tucked into a sleeve glued to the back cover, comes from the olden days when they used to stamp the date the book was due on a grid, and you had to fill your name under Issued To. And look who checked this book out on 26th of May in 1964. Kyle's and the others looked. Luigi Lemoncello! Down on the first floor, Charles used his library card to open the door to the community meeting room. Community meeting room A. Who is to have access to this room? Cooed a soothing voice from the ceiling. Me and my teammates, said Charles, Andrew Peckelman and Haley Daly. Thank you. Please have Andrew Peckelman and Haley Daly swipe their cards through the reader now. Both of them did. Thank you. Entrance to the community meeting room A will be limited to those approved by the host, Charles Chiltington. Have a good meeting. Charles and his team entered the sleek, ultra-modern, white-on-white conference room. There were 12 comfy chairs set up around a glass-top table and a cabinet filled with top-of-the-line audio-visual equipment. You can write on the walls, said Andrew. Let me do that again.
You can write on the walls, said Andrew. They're like the smart boards at school.
Excellent, said Charles, clasping his hands behind his back and pacing around the room. Now, when we all find all 12 pictograms and lay them out according to their position in the staff picks display case, they'll create a rebus for a phrase that I am quite certain will tell us exactly how to exit this library without triggering any alarms. Therefore, it is time for all of us to lay our cards on the table. Haley nodded and pulled 2 more silhouettes out of the back pocket of her jeans. I found these in a cookbook, she said. The other was in a juvenile fiction, Nancy Drew, The Mystery at Lilac Inn. There are blank note cards in this drawer, announced Andrew.
We should use them as placeholders for the books we still need to find.
They laid out the 3x4 grid of cards on the table. Sheep, need, yield. Out, need, house or mansion or library. Indiana, did you figure that out? That's the shape of the state of Indiana. Quarterback, and then need. All of the needs are the cards they don't have. What does it mean? Said Andrew. Simple, said Charles. It means we need to find those other 6 books. And we will stop there.